Hey everybody. So this video is going to cover the material that's in the PowerPoint for rhetorical situation. Um, the rhetorical situation is probably not something you've really ever heard about or thought about, but it's an important part of the writing process. And unfortunately, it's a part that many people skip. They don't think about it. Because it's a lot of what we do in our head before we start writing something. And not everybody goes through each element of the rhetorical situation before they start writing. And what happens is they start writing or they finish writing, and what they have is a bit of a mess. And it's because they didn't really think it through beforehand. And that's what the rhetorical situation helps you do. So, look on the second slide. There are 5 elements of the rhetorical situation: topic, angle, purpose, readers, and context. Okay? There are 3 of those elements that that are crucial to really think about and get a good idea of before you start writing. The first one is your topic. What am I writing about? That might sound easy, but we still make mistakes there if we don't think it through. The next one is angle. Now your angle is what you're bringing to the table that's new or fresh or different, right? It's the so what, you know. I always tell students that pretty much every topic you could think of has already been written about probably a lot of times. So what are you going to do with that topic that's different from what everybody else has already written for that topic? You got to think of what your angle is. That way people will want to read it. It will be meaningful. It will have relevance. It will add something new to this topic. And the third element that is crucial is your purpose. Why am I writing about it? And what should happen as a result? What do I want my readers to walk away with after they've read my piece? What am I trying to do? What is my purpose? Okay? Those 3 elements, super crucial. We're going to talk about them a little more. So, topic. Like I said, it might seem like an easy thing to wrap your head around, that you don't need to really spend a lot of time thinking about it before you get started, but this is one thing that really can mess you up if you don't take the time to really nail down your topic. And you know, there are several things that go into choosing a topic. First of all, do you even have a choice? Or has your instructor picked the topic for you? If you're at work, has your boss picked the topic for you? Like, is there a report you have to write or a memo you need to write? And you don't really have much option in what the topic is at that point. But sometimes you do have choice, right? So how do you choose a topic? There's going to be a lot of thought involved in this, possibly, you know, some free writing, jotting things down on paper to kind of get your thoughts out. But what you really want to keep in mind for this element of the rhetorical situation, when it comes to your topic, you want to think about what the scope is. If you're being asked to write an argumentative research paper and you only get 4 to 5 pages to do it, you want to pick a topic that is super focused, not too big, right? If I'm writing an argumentative research paper that I have only 4 to 5 pages to do it in, I can't choose a big topic like gun control or abortion or the death penalty. You can't cover a topic that big in only 4 or 5 pages. It's just, there's no way. I mean, you could, you literally could turn in a paper that's 4 to 5 pages about one of those topics, but the paper's not going to be good. The argument's not going to be good. You cannot adequately cover all of the nuances and all of the details about those topics in just 4 or 5 pages, right? So you want to make sure that you're thinking about how long is this piece supposed to be? How much time do I get to work on it? You want to, pick a focused topic. Um, you want one that is just right. You want to consider the time that you're given, your audience's interest, or what kind of class you're writing this for, and what your purpose is, why you want to write about it, and what you want your readers to get out of it. Okay, all of those things will help you come to a focused topic. We're going to be talking about pre-writing techniques a little later, and those can also help you in this first step, right? Figuring out what you want your focus topic to be. One example I always give students is I taught a class back quite a few years ago, and students had to do an argumentative research paper, and I had a student who wanted to do his on the conspiracy theories surrounding 9/11. And if you don't really know anything about those conspiracy theories, there are a lot. There's a ton of them. And so when he came to me, turned in that as his topic idea for his argumentative research paper, which was only supposed to be, 5 to 6 pages, I was like, oh man, no. Do you really think you're going to be able, because what's your purpose? Why did you choose this topic? What do you want to accomplish in this paper on this topic? He said, well, I want to show people what the conspiracies are and convince them that, they're valid. And I was like, do you think that you can convince us of every single one of these conspiracies in 5 to 6 pages? So, no, probably not. Like, no, definitely not. So what you need to do is you need to narrow your focus. I'm not saying you can't have this as your overall topic, but for the paper itself, you need to narrow in on something way more specific. And so he thought about it. We did some pre-writing and clustering, and he came back and said, what if I focus on this particular conspiracy theory? And I said, that's probably much more doable, and you stand a much better chance of actually convincing us, or at least giving us something to think about if you choose just one of them. And that's what he did, and the paper turned out to be really good. But had he stuck with that original idea, that original topic that was way too big, the paper would have been a complete bust. He would not have accomplished anything. It would have basically just been a brief summary of each conspiracy. There would have been no argument involved. There would have been no explanation or details given. It would have been way too vague. So narrowing in on your topic is so crucial, because you don't want to spend all that time and energy writing a draft that's 4 or 5 pages, 6 pages long, and come to find out that you either can't turn it in because you know you're going to get a bad grade, or you did turn it in and you did get a bad grade. Hopefully you get a chance to revise. But then you're starting back from square one. Like, all that time typing up those pages and putting that energy into it was wasted. So from the beginning, if you can make sure that you have a really solid, focused, narrow topic, you set yourself up for success from the very beginning, right? Next thing that we mentioned that's crucial to the rhetorical situation is your angle. You do not want to turn in something that your instructor has read 100 times already. You want a unique perspective on it. Sometimes that unique perspective comes from your own experience. Maybe you are writing a research paper about something that's personal to you, and you have a very unique experience that you can draw from as you explain your topic. Well, that makes your take unique, right? Sometimes it's connections we make. Sometimes it's, you just have a different way of looking at things or a different way of explaining things. But you want to think about that. You know, okay, I've picked this topic. I'm pretty sure it's, narrow and focused enough. But how am I going to make mine different? How is mine going to stand out from the hundreds of others that are written on the same topic? Think about that. And then the other crucial piece is purpose. Why are you writing this? And not just because I have to for an assignment, but I always tell students, pretend like you're not in a class. Pretend like this is just a topic that you feel strongly about, that you are connected to in some way, and you want to share it with others. Why? Why this topic? Why this angle? What do you want your readers to get from it, right? Knowing that can help you figure out how to write it, right? Are you just trying to inform them? Are you trying to persuade them? Are you trying to inform them but also make them laugh? Are you trying to be, informative but also a little funny? Are you trying to make them feel a sense of urgency, like this is a problem, this topic that I'm explaining to you, this is a real problem that not enough people are aware of, and we need to make people aware of it, and we need to do something about it. That is a purpose, right? So think about why you're writing, why you chose that topic, what you want your readers to get out of it, okay? Having a distinct purpose in mind from the beginning will help you make decisions about what you're including in your paper as you go, right? Always come back to that purpose. Have the specific topic in mind, always come back to what your purpose is, okay? The other elements of the rhetorical situation, the two others, are audience, right? Those are your readers. Who are your readers, right? A brief reader profiles, their traits and characteristics. Is it just your classmates that you're thinking of as your readers, or are you thinking that there's an even wider audience? If you're choosing an argumentative research paper, if that's what you're being asked to do, who's going to care about this topic? Who are your readers, right? Knowing that can also help you make decisions along the way. You can probably assume for most classes that your audience, your readers, are your classmates. So you guys already share certain things in common. The fact that you're students, the fact that many of you are going to be in the same program or similar. You're going to have a shared knowledge of certain things already. So that can help you make decisions about what you include in your writing as well. And then, skipping all the way down to the second to last slide, slide 14, the last element of the rhetorical situation is the context, okay? So you know what you want to write about, you know how you're going to make your perspective unique, you know what your purpose is, what you want your readers to get out of it, and you know who your readers are, who you have in mind as your audience. Now the context, involves several elements. So first, think about how you're submitting it. Is it a paper, or is it an electronic document? Is it a presentation? Is it a video, right? You might be asked to present information that you've done research on, or that you've, thought about, and you have a written component to it, but you might also be asked to share that in a different medium as well. And those elements of context can also help inform your decisions as you write and as you create what you want to share. Another thing to think about is social and political influences, things going on in the world or locally at the time. Those can make a big difference in how people react to what you present and what you write. And they can also make things more relevant than maybe they were a year ago or even 6 months ago. But also keep in mind that things that are current, people have a lot of thoughts and opinions and emotions about. So you want to temper your writing against that. And then there's always those big topics that always have high emotions and big thoughts and opinions, politics, religion, things like that. So think about what's going on in the world around us. uh, before you start writing, because those things will also help you make decisions along the way. And then the last part of context has to do with voice and tone, and this has to do more with literally the words that you use in your paper. So make sure your voice comes through when you're writing. You want it to sound like you. Even if you're using outside sources to help support parts of your argument, you still want it to sound like you, right? I love it when I read a paper, even if it's just an assignment, not even a full essay, and I know exactly which student it is. Their voice comes through loud and clear, and it really is like your voice, your speaking voice, you know. You want your personality to come through. Temper that though, if I let my personality come through all the time in what I write, I might find myself in trouble from time to time. But, you still want your academic personality, your professional personality, and a little bit of your personal personality to shine through. What tone is most appropriate? I mentioned that you might be trying to inform readers, but also make them laugh, So do you want a serious tone, a funny tone, an argumentative tone, a gloom and doom tone? Think about what kind of tone will serve you best in your writing to accomplish the purpose that you have in mind for yourself and your readers. Okay, those things can help point you in the right direction. And it will help you figure out what kinds of words to use, how to phrase things, all those different sorts of things you have to think about, not necessarily when you're writing the first draft, but perhaps when you're revising. Okay, so rhetorical situation, those 5 elements: topic, angle, purpose, audience, context. Those first 3, topic, angle, and purpose, and really I'd say these 2, topic and purpose, please take the time to think about those 2 elements. Think about your focused, narrow topic, and think about why you're writing it, your purpose. And if you have a clear idea of those before you get started writing anything, it will make that whole process easier and more successful for you. Okay? If you have any questions about anything in the PowerPoint or about the rhetorical situation in general, let me know.